Hello, it's Phillip Taylor from Richmond, Green Chambers. I'm looking at a book this morning by Tottle Publishing called Revenue Law, Principles and Practice. Here's a copy of it. It's not a particularly big book. Nice sort of greeny type cover. Nice picture. It's by Professor Natalie Lee, and it's a very important book. Revenue law is one of those areas that a lot of people would like to run a mile away from very, very quickly. You have to look at it when you do bar finals, certainly, and also as solicitors you've got to have some understanding, because the law relating to revenue and customs crops into everything that we do, and is especially acute at the moment with the economic downturn. This is part of the old Tolley's list, and people probably will be aware of this book. It's an excellent one, and I think it sets the tone nicely. I've done a whole series of reviews in various journals, for solicitor journals in particular, and also on the internet. And what I've done is I've given it the title saying this is the current best expert guide for students and practitioners of tax law, and I mean it. What we've got here with the new 25th edition of this practical, comprehensive, concise and well-priced edition of revenue law, it's not too expensive, is a title which, as I say, in the past would have struck fear into the hearts of revising undergraduates, because of the complexities of the system and some of the unfair assumptions and, frankly, the boring nature of the subject. I mean, the joke is, you're the living dead if you're dealing with this sort of thing, because it really isn't seen as being really interesting like tort and all the quite interesting cases you can get even in contract. Of course, the live issue with clients is always important. You try teaching it though, because it can be deadly, as I found on some of the teaching courses I've run. What Natalie Lee and her team have produced though is another refreshing edition of her work, and I think it remains a hugely popular tome, which I'm told is still read both for practitioners' use and learners' use. Because taxation law, even though it's sort of changed a bit and disappeared from quite a few LL.B. syllabuses, is a subject which is important. And like many, I've always had an aversion to the subject, but what Lee and her army of legal number crunchers have done is they've retained the pre-eminent position with the manual in an accessible format, which I've found helpful to look at, using, where possible, non-technical language and a straightforward approach. It gives what it's always set out to give, in my view, and that is a ready understanding of basic principles, allowing the practitioner the very latest knowledge and know-how with its clear and detailed explanation of revenue law and the wealth of practical examples which we have. Now, the problem is that this edition, the 25th, has been fully revised and updated to incorporate the 2007 Finance Act and the Income Tax Act of 2007 as well. And what makes the book now stand out is it's because it's an outstanding collection of contributors who've been assembled to actually put forward relevant areas of law which is their specialism. And I know I can rely on the client when he comes to me to have a look at this book to try and deal with some of the awkward questions. Having said all of that, we're into new territory since the end of 2008 and the beginning of 2009, and clearly we're going to get new editions, because at the moment there is a major restructuring of our economy going to take place. And of course the budgets of old may well make way for all sorts of different things from 2009-10 onwards. Let me just finish on this occasion by saying that the edition, in my view, is a financial winner, because for us, as with legal implications being the way they are with fiscal policy, obviously the way in which the subject is stated has to bend to fit in with new thinking. And with a general election not that far off now, we're going to have to look very clearly at what fiscal policy will be and the effect it will have on revenue law generally. I think we'd be at a loss without having Natalie's book, and I thank her very much indeed, because it's great to teach with and it's great to use. Thank you very much. Bye bye for now.